Hello, I'm John Kidder. Welcome to the Ashcroft 2018 Civic Election Candidates Q&A. I'm going to be interviewing all the candidates for mayor and council. Each candidate will get a total of 5 questions. All the questions are the same for the candidates, and they've all seen the questions beforehand just to make sure that we're even-handed. So thank you for listening in and look forward to the interviews. Hello, we're here with Alf Trill. Alf's the candidate for mayor in the 2018 Ashcroft Civic Election. Alf's lived in Ashcroft since 1986, came up here to enjoy the summer weather, as I guess we all did, after graduating from Abbotsford Secondary School, and he stayed. The summer was really hot and dry, that's a surprise too. Alf worked as a forest firefighter, and that started his long-term stay here in town. He's been employed by School District 74 since 2005 as a carpenter and enjoys working throughout the region. He and his wife Vicki have 2 children. Joshua's 30, Mary Grace is 10. And Alf's hobbies have been getting ready for and completing triathlons in the summer, playing hockey in the winter. Ashcroft is a community that Alf loves, and he wants to see it continue as a great place to call home. His #1 interest these days is being on council. It takes up some time, and he enjoys the challenges that arise through programs and services that are needed for the community. So, Alf, I've got 5 questions, and you've seen them all. They're the same questions that all the other candidates have been asked. So we'll just start off with #1 and just go on through if I can.
Sounds good, John.
We asked you to try to imagine what you would think Ashcroft might look like 10 or 20 years from now, a real long-term picture. And then see if you can kind of relate that to the voters. So you want to go ahead on that?
That sounds good. Ashcroft has had a lot of changes in the last 20 years, so 20 years farther, I would like to see us as an inland terminal. That would be for the business out at where I used to work at the explosives plant, now is Ashcroft Terminal. It's an inland port for containers, trucking, business in general, warehousing. Hopefully all that gets going, and I anticipate council, doesn't matter who gets on, will definitely see that as a bonus. So we're going to work hard to see that happen and provide services like railway lobbying, because that's a big part of our job as council. We had the vice president for CP at our council meeting yesterday, just to lobby on behalf of Ashcroft and talk about the inland terminal as well. So I think Ashcroft's going to change a lot. We've always been a transportation hub, but I would like to see that continue. The addition of KFC has got many people excited. I get to bring it up at meetings like in Hunter Mile, and you say, we have a fast food joint, and it's funny because it's just a major chain that's come to Ashcroft, and those are the changes that I'd like to see continue. So I would like to see just businesses grow in a sustainable way for the next 20 years. And I don't see big changes, but I see sustainable jobs for people, sustainable changes to the community, and then we'll grow into what we already have as far as infrastructure, because we're planning ahead 20, 25 years already.
Okay. So given that as a kind of a 10 to 20-year outlook, what do you think might get done, needs to get done, to get the town to, how do you think it's going to look and feel at the end of the next 4-year term of council?
Yes, thanks. That's a good question. What are we planning on doing for the next 4 years? And that's going to be up to the new council. My goals are to see the Ashcroft off-leash dog park happen. I would like to see it downtown, like we already made a motion in council back in July, and then we're going to support business by having the off-leash dog park where people are going to go, have a place to exercise their pets, and then visit downtown and visit the businesses. And that was a good outcome of the off-leash dog park committee and their work. So I'd like to see that continue. Obviously the water treatment plant's going to be done between March and it's supposed to be the end date, so between March and July next year of 2019 our water treatment plant's going to be done, and then the whole town will have excellent water, and that'll be a bonus to us as residents. And it's going to be, if we do get the agreement with Ashcroft Indian Band, it's going to be our community working in collaboration with Ashcroft Indian Band as well. And that's an ongoing process that we've started literally 4 or 5 years ago on our council, but the previous council with Mayor Anderson was also working on that. So it's definitely changes that I'm going to see implemented this next 4-year term. So the big one for us is going to keep the curling rink open. That's one of the services we want to have continue. We never want to see a service die, because when a service is no longer functioning and can't provide a service to the community anymore, that's a detriment to everybody that lives in the community. And the curling rink is one of the things that I see as a previous councillor, and hopefully as mayor, something that's going to be really important for us to work on. And that is just working with the curling club members and the executive to make their business of curling and their use of the building function. And that's going to be a key goal for me as mayor. And it's something that I think we really need to work on. It's just any service that we already have, like hockey, the pool, even like we saw the hot tub close. You think, okay, why did the hot tub close? Is because it had a problem, and now as council we need to fix those things. And it's something that when it closes, it's just way more money and harder to open up again. So for me, it's services in the community, we're going to keep them going. So.
Okay, so in the context of doing all that, Alf, what do you see as the role of the mayor in that specifically?
Yeah, good question, John. I'd like to say the role of the mayor is leadership. So leadership to the council, but then also leadership to the community. I would like to get out to the service groups that we have already, like the Lions, Rotary, even just going to functions like the theater that we have in town. Like it's just being at those things and seeing what people are doing in our community is just really important. So going and helping out wherever you can, like I get to help out with the kids triathlon in town, help Wayne Little with his pavilion triathlon as much as I can, even though I'm a participant. We always want to help, and that's part of the mayor's role, is to actually be there, to be seen by people, but then also to be part of the volunteer group, and I think that's really important. So just to be there, to hear people's concerns too, because that's the only way you're going to find out is you're actually there to hear. So.
Okay. Well, so given all that, Alf, what kind of practical and doable approaches are you going to suggest to work in that direction to get to those 20-year goals in the next 4 or 5 years? I'm presuming I've asked everybody this, that you're familiar with the official community plan, your financial plan, being on council. So do you see issues that aren't addressed in that plan? Are there other things that are specific personal initiatives you want to take? Personal
initiatives is definitely one of the big ones that we talked about at the beginning of my council term and during election last time was a walking path along the river. So what I see as important to me as a community member is the river is a vital part of Ashcroft. And how to have a walking path either along Evans Road or even just around the outskirts of town somewhere, like just someplace where people can actually walk. It doesn't even have to be on the river, but just above the river where you can actually see it. And that's something that I like to see us work on as a part of our official community plan, even though it's something that isn't really a service that's needed, it's just something that people would enjoy. And you see those quite often in small towns.
Yeah. Okay, well, we've got 2.5 minutes left to go. So I'm going to ask you now to just speak to the voters about why Alf Trill should be their choice for mayor, particularly not the specific things we've been talking about, but just a general focus on you.
Me. Well, I'd like to say I'd want to provide positive leadership to the whole council, and also in turn, not just to the council, but to the other groups that we actually meet with. And I had heard from a previous councillor, this is more than 10 years ago, about how if you wanted to steer the direction of a committee, or any board in this case, you have to be the chair of it. And that's what I really would like to strive for, is to actually be the leader that gives the direction to the council. And it's obviously the will of council is so important, but to me it was really important to give leadership. And I enjoyed being the QP president for our school district in our area, for Logan Lake, or not Logan Lake, for Lillooet and Lytton and Cache Creek, Ashcroft, even on Goldbridge. For the district of Lillooet, we were servicing also the municipal employees, which is really good for me. It helped me understand what our municipalities go through as far as contracting and job descriptions and all that. So I really appreciated that opportunity to be the leader for QP, and it was a struggle for 6 years. I had 8 or 9 contracts that we had to settle as the lead for our whole local, and it was just an opportunity for me. So now as council, I would like to work together with the other 4 new candidates and see what their goals are, what their objectives are, and then try to make them fit our community and make our community the best place to live. And that's what we want. We want to have the best place, and we want to have a place that people just love to come back to. I still remember the very first time I saw Ashcroft and fell in love with it, and I was only 6 years old, and not even quite 6. But I still love living here. So that's what I'm looking forward to, is just being that voice for the whole community.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Alf.
Yes.
Pleasure.